Good evening and welcome to an episode of, we're going to do paramotor risk talk. That's what this episode is going to be about. So I just kind of want to discuss a couple things. This kind of has to do with the last video that I posted about me trying to do stalls when I probably shouldn't have. And I don't want people to think that I'm completely against taking risks. Obviously, that's not the case. And I think that you just need to really assess what it is that you're going to do beforehand. So on the same topic of that, basically weather conditions for flying. That's what this is going to be about. So I wanted to discuss what type of weather conditions I would suggest you fly in and some of the things that I use when I'm deciding whether or not it's a good idea to fly. Now, early on, when you're in your beginning stages of your flying career, whether you just graduated from your school or if you're doing it all on your own, don't be extremely risky, especially because you don't have the skill set yet to be able to handle the different conditions that the weather might throw at you. There have been numerous times that I've had to land in a field because high winds came in, or just take deflation, how to deal with that sort of thing. So I would definitely suggest you get an SIV course if you're wanting to do some kind of crazy weather conditions that you fly in, and at the very least, practice kiting your wing in whatever condition you're wanting to fly in. If you can't handle your wing on the ground, you're probably not going to want to handle it in the air. And as they always say, you're better off wishing you were in the air when you're on the ground than vice versa. So that being said, when weather comes in, if you're up flying, just if you don't think that you should be in that air, in that conditions, whatever it is, if you see a stormy cloud off in the distance, which I've had happen to me a few times, you're flying along, everything seems great, and then all of a sudden just this wind picks up, or you can see it come across like a body of water, something far off in the distance. It maybe starts off as calm, but you see this dark cloud looming off in the distance. Me and my buddies have been up flying multiple times, and then you just see this weather kick in. If you can see a flag on the ground or any kind of a good indicator of what's happening on the ground, if you can catch that early enough on, you can get yourself down safely. Don't worry about getting right back to your house. Just find a safe spot to land and then deal with the consequences once you're on the ground, because you are way better off landing somewhere that's weird. It just becomes a fun adventure at that point in time, because then your buddies come and pick you up, or your wife, or just a friend, whatever, or you have to hike it back to the house. Not a big deal. I've had that happen before. So, us as paramotor pilots, it's something we kind of just have to expect is going to happen at some point in time. Even if it could be just an engine out, you're always trying to hunt for a spot you could possibly land. So if a weather window rolls in, don't feel like you have to try to get back to your house so you don't, have the embarrassment or whatever of realization that you shouldn't have been flying during those conditions. It's not that big a deal. Just get on the ground, get back. That way you can laugh it off and enjoy the wild ride that it was, rather than getting hurt on the way. If you take a collapse down low, you don't have enough time to recover. You end up in a big mess. So we've all seen those videos, and that's not something I'm going to show here, but just don't be a part of the bad statistic. But so that being said, what I would definitely suggest if you're early on, nothing above 7 miles an hour. Get yourself, I look on Ryan Carlton. You can download the app. That is super helpful. That is the one thing that I check the most, is the Ryan Carlton app. And that's just this here. It just says wind forecast. So it's like the little balloons. So that's what that app is. I would highly suggest that. And then just check, Google search your forecast for the day and see what it has in store for you. If like I said, if you see above 7 miles an hour, starting off, I probably wouldn't even go above 5. Just enough to basically help give you a little bit of a breeze for the launch, making the launch easier. So that's nice, I understand. But anything above 7 mile an hour winds, it's going to be pretty sketchy. It's just something you shouldn't deal with, because if you take a collapse and you're early and you don't know how to handle that collapse, that could be a big, big problem. But, as you get more and more advanced, once you get used to it, if you have a safer glider, or if you get really good at your glider, take it to an SIV course, learn how to do some of the recovery maneuvers there and the different things that you can do to try to kind of help against the ignorance that you had originally with the wing. Aside from that, look for storm clouds. Those are very good indicators of bad weather coming. It might be super calm on the ground and be like, wow, this is the perfect day. But if you see this dark, dark cloud off in the distance, eventually that perfect day isn't going to be so perfect. So, you can kind of try to judge how far out it is. And if you do go up, just know that that wind might kick up at any moment. So don't put yourself too far from your house if you're worried about being able to land in that same spot. And stay low. If you're a couple feet off the ground and something happens, you've only got a couple feet to fall. Yeah, you'll break your motor up a little bit maybe, but that's way better than a broken leg or a broken back. So, or on the opposite side, go really, really high. That way, at least if you have a reserve, or even if you don't have a reserve, if your wing collapses, you have a lot longer to try to recover that situation. Something that you want to be able to do. If you're flying around what you think is your normal safe zone that's just a little bit above the trees, that's a really bad place to be, honestly. Now, that said, I've heard it before. I've never experienced it personally. But if you do have to, if you do take a collapse and you land in something, you're way better off landing on trees versus just the hard ground, because your canopy can get caught in the canopy of the trees, and then that'll help save you from dying. Mind you, I've always wanted to experience it, but not have to experience it. I think it'd be cool to try to see how you got out of the trees afterwards, but you could get poked in a lot of weird spots with sticks that are, sticking up from the branches. So just take that into consideration as well. But aside from that, yeah, do your due diligence on making sure you check the forecast really well. And then oftentimes just match that to what you're actually seeing is going on. Don't assume just because you see on the forecast that it's supposed to be perfect. Don't assume, if you go outside and it's windy, realize it's windy and the forecast is incorrect. So just at the very least, have some good indicators of what is the safe flying conditions. So if you're going to fly in what are considered sketchier conditions, higher winds, whatever, oftentimes I'm torn between what wing I'll fly. So I almost feel more confident on a spicier glider because I have more control. I can feel everything better. Mind you, now if it does collapse, it's obviously not as good at recovering as a safer glider. But that being said, if I'm on my sportier gliders, I can also move quicker, so I might be able to get myself back to a safe position, a better place to land, or outrun a storm or something, if it's not coming in too fast, versus if I'm on my bigger, safer gliders, I might just get sucked into it. I can't get away from it. So also bigger gliders, I think, tend to stall easier. So if you're considered lightweight on a large glider, you're more likely to take a collapse from a stall type situation if your wing were to get wet, if you got caught in the rain. However, it's more likely to recover and less dynamic on the recovery than, say, a smaller, sportier glider. But just remember, it's probably more likely to collapse if you're light on the glider. Just things to consider. So all that being said, I do suggest you get yourself out there and really, put yourself through some things to learn the glider, but do it at a safe elevation with a reserve. And don't just start by cutting it up down low and doing these certain maneuvers that if something messes up because you're not good at it and you don't know it because you're a beginner, that you'll get yourself in a lot of trouble. So do it at some good elevation where you've got a reserve, you've got yourself plenty of room to get out of jail if you need to. Get out there and fly. I hope you guys are having a great time, and I hope everybody's safe and just enjoying life. Peace out. Random dispatch. We've got ourselves a dog right here. He's not my dog, he's somebody else's dog. But the poor guy keeps following me. Now I don't want him to attack me, obviously, so I gotta stay vigilant. Hey, buddy! Hey, buddy! He runs through the water if I go across the water. Hey, buddy! See ya, bud! Alright, Bartholomew's up in the air over here. We're gonna go get him. This is a flight, an impromptu flight. This would be the 5th day in a row, but there was one day that was missed yesterday. My motor, I could have flown probably, but my motor, the relay had gone out and the electrical wire that attaches to the starter, which is rather important, that also broke off. So a little combination of unfortunate circumstances. But today is another day. I used a relay from my old 1990 Nissan 300ZX. My very first car, I had a relay that I was able to use off of that. So that's what I'm flying on today. Wah! Oh, it's a wonderful time. We got birds over here. Let's play with the birds. Let's play with the birds. Lovely fun. Lovely. There's Bartholomew up there getting nasty. Make sure my wing doesn't get in his wash. Hello, birdies. We got ourselves an impeding storm on the horizon there, so I gotta watch out for that. Oh, it's a good time. We're just having a hoot! A freaking hoot! This is that nice, long, delicious grass. Oh, it's lovely. Heck yeah. Let's go cruise over here. How awesome. Freaking sweet. Good winged blackbird right there. Hello. Gracias. I know that's not hello, that's thank you, but we're gonna go with a thank you. There's a hello thank you to the bird for being bird-like and beautiful. All right, so we have a hawk's nest up here, which we're not gonna disturb the hawk, but merely perhaps observe him in his natural habitat if we can. There he is, chilling. How freaking cool. One thing I really like to do is come close to these things and maybe proximity kick them, but I gotta make sure I'm within a glide over top of them or I can turn away. So there we go. Woo! Oh, that's fun. That is just a freaking great time, this. And down into the gorge. Skew! Up. We don't want to hit those with our wing. Oh, it's just a good time. Meow. Energy management. That is what this thing is all about. You gotta be careful because you can pitch yourself up into a point where you'll get light in the seat if you don't use the right braking inputs. But if you do use the right braking inputs, my God, it's a magical experience. And we're gonna go up before I crash into that water. We're gonna go ahead and see. Just a little baby. Little baby for correct. Dude, that's that swamp system right there. Let's go ahead and hit that up. Stream, that would be something sweet. Oh man. Piece of that. All right. That is such a good time. Beautiful. absolutely beautiful field this is. Let my toes dangle in it. They mowed it! Oh, it's beautiful! It looks so menacing. We're definitely going to bring her in for a landing now. That is... Dude, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but off in the horizon there is a line of rain that's coming in. We maybe shouldn't wait for this to come over top of me. I should maybe chase it out. Gosh, that's beautiful. With the propeller spinning in the background. That's just amazingly cool. All right, we're gonna bring her on in, baby. Oh, that's cool. It's so cool. Yes, making sure I just turned it on. Dude, that is so ominous. Gosh, that's gorgeous. Well, we've been really fortunate these last few days because we didn't think we were going to get to fly at all. Turns out we've flown pretty much every single day. Forecasts were storms pretty much constantly. But apparently there's the whole calm before the storm is a very real thing, because this is absolutely magical. Alright, we're going to try to restart. It won't. So either my relay's blown again or something, but we're gonna have to make sure we nail this thing. It's unfortunate that it's such a frickin' wonky day. Well, at least we're making the field. And I just pray that I don't catch some weird sink. Ah, lovely. Lovely. How awesome was that? Well, alright, so Bart's gonna say, I told you so. My whole relay thing. I don't know how that managed to happen. I guess that's what's going on. Alright, I was gonna say. Very confused. Alrighty, well, I'm gonna run this bad boy in before I get rained on. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Peace out.